There it is. Okay, Tri-City Sports Now. I am Marky Billson. And before we go into recruiting, I did want to, well, let's see here. I'm going to put the old headphones on here for all you people and so that I can hear what I'm about ready to be playing here, some sound bites. Yesterday, Lane Kiffin signed a 10-year contract to continue, a 10-year extension at Florida Atlantic. Maybe they're serious about moving up in football, trying to become a little bit more than what they have been in the past. Of course, Lane Kiffin, Howard Schnellenberger was once at Florida Atlantic, right?
Probably is. Oh, he's a good offensive coordinator and won a bunch of championships, scored a bunch of points, but he's not a good head coach, and that's probably your last shot.
We wanted to play that, and then I started to realize that if you're watching on Facebook Live, you didn't hear Lane Kiffin say that, wow, a lot of people thought that I was just desperate for a head coaching job. Actually, I just thought you were desperate to get away from Nick Saban, and I can't blame you for that. Surliest man in the world. Well, no, he's not the surliest man in the world. Obviously, Bill Belichick is the surliest man in the world, and Nick Saban learned surliness by being the defensive coordinator under Bill Belichick with the Cleveland Browns a generation ago. Okay. But as I look to this, I want to, let's see here. I want to discuss with you, and I want to say what do we have this ready now? Okay, good. The Owls of Florida Atlantic really responded to that 10-year extension yesterday. They were playing a Tommy Bowden coach team. Used to be Tommy Bowden coach teams went undefeated. Now,
Stone, the clock hits 0, and that'll do it. Florida Atlantic's championship season ends with a 10-game winning streak, second longest in the nation. The Owls won the East Division in Conference USA. Florida Atlantic won Conference USA, and FAU Boca Bowl champions in 2017. Florida Atlantic dominant. Florida Atlantic overwhelming, and Florida Atlantic will celebrate once again on their home field. FAU pounds Akron 50-3 in the 2017 Boca Raton Bowl.
Tri-City Sports Now. So yeah, that was, I know bowl games, what are they? Glorified exhibitions. I'm not real big on them that much anymore. Except maybe, the college football playoff, obviously. I wouldn't mind having some bowl games as, let's just say, champions of, say, the Sun Belt playing the MAC, something like that. If you didn't make the college football playoff and you won your conference, going to a Peach Bowl, a Cotton Bowl, something like that. There is a lot of tradition there. I can see, I like the Metroplex. I can see, it always was historically, you get a team, the best team from the East, the best team from the West. And what happens? You go to Pasadena. You hang out with movie stars. That's prior to World War II, what the Rose Bowl was, But no, that was the idea. The Orange Bowl. You come to South Florida. Start of the winter. Nice, warm weather. Even high school teams did this. Anyway, by the way, at the beginning of the show, there was talk on the sports update that we do, the NBC Sports Update, about a potential fight, or shall I say, Floyd Mayweather going into UFC. Max Kellerman had something to say about that. Let's hear about it.
Floyd understands, and he's always understood. Yes, he has his fans, and that's powerful economic clout. But much like young Cassius Clay, later Muhammad Ali, when he was Cassius at the time, saw Gorgeous George the wrestler, I think it was probably the late 50s, and saw everyone was there booing Gorgeous George. And he realized, boy, you can make money with your fans. But the people who would pay to see you beat, you make a lot of money with them too.
It's a high to be loathed. All right.
be telling you the truth right now, like, I'm done. But if he wakes up tomorrow and feels differently, he could fight again.
So that's Max Kellerman on. I just maintain that we've got so much criticism about football and its barbarism, yet UFC is growing. What's up with that? That just seems to be such hypocrisy to me. And well, here we have organized mayhem, Marky, and here we have, brutal mayhem. There are a lot more deaths in UFC. Well, CTE, it comes on and I understand that. Okay? I mean, and I'm not suggesting that we poo-poo that away. But it just seems to me the outrage over football, why not the outrage over UFC? There's at least an intellectual component to football. There's a coming together of communities to football. Maybe it is actually, and I kind of think healthy also, to get one's aggressions out playing football. Just like when you were a kid and you used to tussle on your bed with your friends and all that. Why you were getting your aggressions out? You were learning what your body could do. I think there's a similarity. Well, isn't that the same with UFC? I don't think you have the communities coming together because it's individuals and not, everybody in Virginia getting behind Virginia Tech, except for the Cavaliers fans. It's not everybody in Pittsburgh getting behind the Steelers. It's not everybody in Boston getting behind the Red Sox. It's not the same. So there is a story out there. What is going on here? The New York Islanders, I want to see what we are talking about right there. They are creating look at this. They will be creating a new arena at Belmont Park. Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense really for the New York Islanders to play in Brooklyn now. Think of the nickname, don't you think? Gary Bettman, we talked about there's going to be an MLS team in Nashville, and I wonder if the USL, could they possibly, there's no rumor, I'm just floating this out. I would love to see that USL team come to the Tri-Cities. So I'm throwing out the discussion. Let's have, instead of minor pro sports, major pro sports. Gary Bettman talking about the new arena at Belmont Park.
Also probably represent the first time in the Islanders' history that they've been in what I'll call a world-class facility. This world-class arena will be great for Islander fans. It will be great for concerts. It will be great for tourism.
I know the Islanders haven't done a whole lot since the Mike Bossy days, but, they did have a huge following on Long Island. And, they were the team of the island. That meant something other than the team of the city in New York with the Rangers. And for that matter, the team of New Jersey with the New Jersey Devils. Really fun hockey rivalry in the New York metropolitan area with that. I mean, it's the difference between, Newsday and the Times or the Daily News or the Post, what have you. But, a lot of people did not want the Islanders to go from the Nassau Coliseum. Islander fans looked at it as a dump, but it was their dump. Gary Bettman, though, does not agree. He's the commissioner of hockey.
A great deal of history at the Nassau Coliseum. It simply outlived its usefulness and is not even in its current condition. It is not a viable home for the Islanders. So to keep the Islanders healthy, strong on Long Island, this project was essential.
But like I say, they're the Islanders, so what about the island? Here's New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Well, I thought I had New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Come on, you can't be doing that to me here. Come on, Andrew. I know your dad didn't make it in talk radio, but hey, you can do it.
Center is nice, very nice, but the Barclay Center is in Brooklyn. And the Islanders were from Long Island. And when they left and went to Brooklyn, Long Island lost something.
We can kind of understand that. I mean, Tennessee Oilers, that doesn't. Brooklyn Islanders, they're still New York Islanders, but Brooklyn, part of New York, city or state. Been part of the city since 1898. Anyway. All right, so I wanted to play that, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that sort of what's going on here. There has been a lot of, let's get you the latest on the recruiting news and finish out the show that way. Let's see here. Quarterback Emory Jones, here's something, flipping from Ohio State to Florida. And again, you don't know how these guys are going to do. You just don't. How about Clemson picking up a lineman, a 5-star lineman? Okay, that's, you can always find another tackle, don't you always say that? How about picking one up from Ohio? Georgia and Clemson are really cleaning up in the early signing period. I think, by the way, the early signing period, and we did mention ETSU signed 2 players, Cam Lewis, quarterback, out of a good dual threat guy from Georgia, and then Kendall Wright is from Mississippi. A JUCO, these are 2 Randy Sanders high early signings, and you know it because you know that Lewis wants to work with Sanders, who tutored Manning and Winston. And you know that, right, I mean, a JUCO, they haven't done this before. They haven't done this since Paul Hamilton. Penn State was able to get a player from Nazareth, PA, to go to Penn State. That's not a big deal. What if he had originally committed to UCLA? I guess he doesn't like Chip Kelly. How long until James Franklin gets on his nerves? The number 1 offensive guard in the nation is Jamaree Salyer. He's going to Georgia. Micah Parsons from Harrisburg. Nobody really knew where he was going to go. He's a defensive end, one of the top 10 prospects in the country. Not a surprise, it's Penn State. How about Mississippi State getting a nice wide receiver, Devonta Jason? It's a top 100. New staff at Tennessee pulls in 2 4-stars. First from Cordova, Tennessee, Jeremy Banks, running back. 9th rated running back in the country. Jerome Carvin from Cordova, Tennessee. Remember, Jeremy Potvin said he wanted to get and shore up the recruiting in his own state. He's done that. Potvin is an offensive tackle. You know what? Like I say, you can always find another tackle. So Cade Mays goes to Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State. Doesn't really matter, in my opinion, if you're bringing in Jerome Carvin. I mean, look, Trey Smith was supposed to be the cat's meow, right? Number 16 recruit in the country. Put him on the line as a freshman. Second team All-SEC. And yeah, they were 4-8 were the Vols. So what does it all mean? By the way, former Tennessee commit Michael Penix winds up at Indiana. He'll be reunited. I guess Mike DeBoard may have had something to do with that. Butch Jones' old offensive coordinator, now with the Hoosiers. So that's a big recruiting get. Elijah Moore, he's a 4-star wide receiver. He goes from Georgia to Ole Miss. Interesting. Ole Miss is the last place right now I would want to play or coach. I got to tell you, with that probation coming up and all this. But yeah, that's one that Georgia, and I did think they were cleaning up. I mean, they get one of the better quarterbacks and such, but that's a miss. But then again, it's, one wide receiver. So what does it mean? Anyway, that's the latest. We'll be getting news like this all throughout the day. And so we're happy to give some of it to you on Tri-City Sports Now. Please follow us on Facebook at 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities. Colin Coward is going to come up next. Tomorrow I'm going to try to get Jerry Bonkowski, if his health is up to it, to come on, talk a little bit about the NASCAR season in the off-season. Bud Moore passed away a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to talk a little bit about that and more. So Tri-City Sports Now. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. Colin Coward is next.
Andy Irwin, 1420 NBC.